morning guys, this is Architect Suprit. I am currently working as project coordinator in Vitara project management company who is currently dealing with a prestigious project named ITC Narmada happening in Ahmedabad. So Vitara project management company is a company who is having an objective of initiating, planning, executing and delivering the specified work with success criteria. And we will be having our panel members, Varsha Patil, who is project manager for this project, myself Architect Suprit, who is the project coordinator, and we also have Architect Amruta Manchi working as project coordinator too, along with Architect Deepti Ublikar and Architect Anil Sati, who are also the project coordinators for this ITC Narmada project happening in Ahmedabad. And we render services in project management consultancy, architecture and interiors. So Vitara Project Management Company is more than a professional advisory consultancy where we have integrated professional team with deep domain expertise in the field of construction, management and also the execution of the work. So our main expertise deals with the professional management along with the quality craftsmanship. With years of experience in construction industry, our team has knowledge and capabilities to deliver the quality craftsmanship to each project.
Hi all, I am Anil Sati. I am doing project feasibility and scope management for the project ITC Narmada under the banner Vitara Projects, which is a project management consultancy. Let me give you a brief introduction about the project ITC Narmada. ITC Narmada is basically a 5-star hotel, comprises of almost 307 rooms and stand tall 78-meter high. The edifice has a configuration of 3 basement plus 20 upper floor and having a built-up area of almost around 6 lakh square feet. The site is strategically located on the northeast part of the Ahmedabad city and very close to the river Sabarmati. It is a upmarket area. The site area is almost 2.5 acres. The approach road is 18 meter wide, which is further connected with a 36 meter wide bungalow road. The site is surrounded by corporate houses. The corporate houses, either they have their regional offices or head offices out there, and the rest of the other part of the area is basically high-end apartments. ITC Hotel Group, which is the project proponent for this particular edifice, has a organization planning and policy. Wherever they wanted to do their 5-star hotel, they wanted to have at least 300 plus rooms. So considering a very small site, which is 2.5 acres, and the FSI which has been given by the statutory authority is only 1.8, they wanted to achieve more FSI to reach to their goal of 300 plus guest rooms. So they have increased the FSI by paying the heavy premium, because it is the FSI can be increased by paying extra premium, and subsequently they have to pay for the height also, because the ground coverage is constant, which is almost 30%. They have gone from 70 meter, which is a permissible height, to 78 meter, accommodating 2 more floor, and thus they have achieved the configuration of 300 and plus rooms. Precisely, it is 307 rooms. Ahmedabad, being a commercial capital of Gujarat and connected with all the major tourist places in Gujarat, ITC Narmada not only promote the tourism out here, but also to cash on the corporate clients. Now coming to the demand and supply, there is a huge gap between demand and supply. The data what we have collected in 2017 when the project was started and we were doing the feasibility study, the guest room The 5-star guest room which were required in 2017 were almost around 1650, and only 700 guest room were under development process. Now this gap is further increased because of the pandemic. So ITC Hotel Group wants to start this project as soon as possible. The hotel was commenced in 2017, but because of the pandemic, it has been delayed, and they wanted to start as soon as possible by 2022. As far as financial feasibility is concerned, the source of financing is basically a 40 to 60 debit equity ratio, and that debit has been calculated on 8% rate of interest with a repaying period of almost around 10 years. Considering this data, we have calculated IRR. IRR is almost around 20.88%, which is really good for any hotel kind of industry, with 20.8% as IRR. NPV is also positive. NPV is almost around 588 crore. So considering this data, we have given a go ahead as far as the financial feasibility is concerned. Coming to the scope management of the project ITC Narmada. Scope management is very crucial as it defines the boundary of the project. It tells the team what exactly has to be done and what exactly not to be done. Scope management is very important as it controls the three important aspects of project management. One is the cost, schedule, and the quality. We have almost around 6 sub-processes. 4 are coming under the planning process group, and 2 are coming under monitoring and control process group. As far as plan scope management is concerned, which is nothing but the very first sub-process under the planning process head, it tells clearly how the scope is defined, validated, and controlled. It also tells about the work breakdown structure and how to create the work breakdown structure, nomenclature, and documenting it. The outcome of this particular process is scope management plan and the requirement management plan. Collecting the requirement is one of the major important aspect of this particular scope management, which is coming under as a second sub process, and it tells to deal with all the stakeholders, collecting their requirement, what exactly they want. There's a particular process, there's a particular channel to interact with all the stakeholders, whether it is a small, big, internal or external. We have to make sure that we have to interact with all the stakeholders either through one-to-one interview, group discussion, sending the questionnaire to them, getting their reply, validating it, analyzing it, and making sure that we are defining the scope. There are, in case of ITC Narmada, there is a very peculiar requirement from the major stakeholder, which is nothing but client. They wanted to have vernacular architecture. They wanted to use some element which is taken from history of architecture of Gujarat. They have taken some element from the Sun Temple, Modra, and the stepwell of Adalaj, which is quite famous in Gujarat. These elements not only incorporated in the external facade, but also consider the theme proposed for the interiors. Defining the scope is very important. During this phase, we are defining the scope statement. It includes the product scope, it includes the project scope, the acceptance criteria, project exclusions, assumptions. So we have to make sure that this is one of the important aspect and every element has to be documented out here. Now, as far as the acceptance criteria is concerned for the ITC Narmada, the acceptance criteria is the project has to be LEED Platinum certified. They wanted to promote sustainability and this become an acceptance criteria. As far as the project exclusions are concerned, there is some norms, recent norms which has been projected by Pollution Control Board of Gujarat, stating that uh, the biofuel which has to be generated from the organic waste has to be used for all the pumps. But since it is the project, what we have started is in 2017, so we are not coming under this preview and we have kept this particular thing out of scope. The second thing is, since the alcohol is banned in Gujarat, the bar has to be taken out from the program requirement. Validating the scope is very important as it has to be the entire scope which has been defined has to be signed by all the major stakeholder. And during the monitoring and control, if we find that as the actual is, there is a variance of actual with respect to the scope baseline and it is exceeding the permissible limit, then we have to revise the scope baseline. Thank you.
Hi, I'm architect Amrita and I'm going to be speaking about stakeholder management for ITC Narmada project. Stakeholder management is a process where we identify various people, group of people, or an organization who could impact or get impacted by the project and analyze their needs and requirements from the project. And appropriate strategies developed to effectively engage the stakeholders in decision making, planning, and execution of the project. And as far as ITC Narmada project is concerned, we followed the 4 standard steps for managing the stakeholders. First one is identifying the stakeholders. As per the size and complexity of the project charter and other project documents were analyzed to list who are the key stakeholders in the project and who are the additional stakeholders. Their responsibilities as stakeholders were also identified, and all the stakeholders were characterized and grouped based on the politics and power structure of the project. The second step was to develop an engagement plan for which a matrix was prepared where we could compare between the current engagement level against the desired engagement levels of various stakeholders required for the successful completion of the project. A plan is prepared which will identify the strategies and actions required to promote the productivity, involvement, and engagement of stakeholders in decision making and the execution. The third step is to manage stakeholders. This process will help in managing the communication and interaction between various stakeholders for better productivity. Change log and issue logs are created to register and document change requests, their status, and the stakeholder concerns. A communication management plan is created which will describe the methods, the format, and the technologies used for the stakeholder management. The other area of project management is project scheduling. It is a process required to manage the timely completion of the project. It provides detailed plan that will represent how and when the project product will be delivered. And for ITC Narmada project, 6 different stages in schedule management was performed, which are preparing schedule management plan to establish a document for planning, developing, executing, and controlling the project schedule. Defining activities is a process of identifying the specific actions that needs to be performed to deliver the product of the project. The third step is to establish a relationship among the activities in a logical sequence. The fourth step is to estimate the number of work period needed for completing each activity in the schedule. After analyzing the activities, their sequencing, and the estimated work period, a schedule model is prepared for the execution. A scheduled execution is monitored and controlled throughout the project.
Hello guys, I am back again. I am going to explain to people about the cost management that we have followed in this ITC Narmada project. So here we will be covering 4 topics majorly, that is plan cost management, estimation of cost, determining of budget, and also the cost control techniques. So when we pass on to plan cost management majorly deals with the planning the cost. As the word itself explains, it plans the cost that is going to be incurred in the entire project. So here we have 3 sectors, that is input parameters, tools and techniques, and also the output parameters. Input parameters are something that are going to be encountered during the project, which costs. So here the tools and techniques that we are going to use is area programming and also the budgeting of every element that is going to be used in the project. So the output parameters will be the total budget of the project along with the cost per key element. So when we come to estimation of costs, here we have 7 major components that has to be covered, that is land costs, construction costs, mechanical, electrical and plumbing costs, furniture fixture costs, soft costs like licensing, certification, different permission from the local governing authorities, and pre-opening and working capital, along with the interest calculated during the construction for the loan taken by the investors for completion of the project. So here when we come to determining the budget depends on the cost modeling techniques of a hotel project. So here the budget is determined based on the components that are going to be used in the project, and also what is entering into the project and what is going out of the project, along with the revenue that is going to be earned in the end. So here when we see the budget division, so we have civil work, facade work, services, interior works, specialized works, operating supplies and equipments, and consultants and soft costs. That overall makes 100% of the budget covered with these simple divisions. And then when we go to this Excel sheet that's going to be displayed, so we have different elements carrying out at different rates and different amounts. So you can have a look at the whole budgeting process of that has been followed for this ITC Narmada Ahmedabad. So the overall budget excluding the land cost, we are having around like 630 crores 77 lakhs 16,690 rupees. So this is the overall budget of the project excluding the land cost. So when we add up to the land cost, it will be around 700 crores approximately. So and when we come to controlling the cost, which is a final crucial part of the project, that is planning the project budget, keeping the tracks of costs, effective time management, project change control, and use of earned value. So this is the major steps that has been followed in the cost management process of this ITC Narmada project, and we'll pass on to Varsha, who will be explaining the quality control management process that has been followed in this ITC Narmada project. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Varsha Patil and I head this project as a quality manager, and I would like to take you all through the quality management procedures that we have followed for this project. So what is exactly quality management? Quality management is considered as a vital aspect for all kinds of projects, may it be small scale, large scale, or any medium scale projects. And it acts as a profit to the maker, it acts as a value to the user, and together it acts as a satisfaction for both the maker as well as the user. So how do we go about the quality management procedure is by following 3 important processes, that is quality planning, quality assurance, and the last one is quality controlling. So coming to the first step of quality management, that is quality planning, it is influenced by company-wide policy and contract requirements, and is basically includes all project related details. That includes the scope related to the quality management, objectives related to the quality management, or the main quality planning, which is each and every thing of quality planning is approved by the stakeholders. It also includes the organizational chart which has been specified for this quality management, and it is maintained in a hierarchical order, and it also includes all the documentation procedures that should be maintained throughout the construction stages. So coming to the second process, that is quality assurance. It is all about the managerial process that is required for the quality management, and this includes that all the codes, standards, specifications, supply chains, planning conditions, material storage, its transportation, handling, instruments or equipments handling, and its installations, and mainly the traceability of both the materials as well as the equipments which is done during this process. So coming to the last process of quality management, that is quality controlling method. So though it is considered as the last process, it is actually carried out through for each and every activities according to the specified quality assurance standards, and thus it includes inspection, testing, verification, basically the monitoring and controlling of the quality performance of specific activities which are being carried out by the specific team or specific members. So once the monitoring and controlling processes are done, the project time or cost variations resulting from the correction of reported defects is reported to the project manager, and from here he finally project manager carries out the commissioning process.
Hello, this is Deepthi Hubdekar and I am handling the management of risk under the company Vitara for the project ITC Narmada. It is common knowledge that all projects include risk, which may either have a positive or a negative impact on the project. Hence, it is essential to identify these risks early and assess them in order for them to be quantitatively as well as qualitatively analyzed and resolved throughout the life cycle of the project. The complexities associated with hotels are far more as compared to regular structures, because a hotel is not just delivering of a building, but it requires us to reflect the long-term business needs of those who commission the project. At the same time, it expects to deliver the expected benefits that we will be reaping from out of the project. Some of the crucial risks that we have identified and laid out a mitigation as well as a contingency plan for with respect to ITC Narmada are risk related to finance, where the overhead in construction caused by the pandemic and uncertain revenues are where we plan to mitigate it by tracking the project plan. And our contingency plan is to revise the hotel tariffs during the peak seasons, as well as open the recreational facilities to the local public to generate revenue and recover from the loss. We may also have land-related risk, where we have to excavate 70,000 cubic meter of earth for a 3-story basement for parking. And given our project is based on a brownfield area with buildings all along the periphery of the site, we require for it to be carefully shored. And another major risk being the project area is categorized as in the seismic zone 3, which is classified as to having moderate seismic intensity. The structure shall be designed as per seismic zone 4 to safeguard the structure from earthquakes. And also, given the project's close proximity to Sabarmati River and the Thol Bird Sanctuary, which is a sensitive area, as well as Vastrapur Lake, special attention needs to be paid out to the environmental risks that may arise during the construction period, as well as the operation and maintenance stage. Also, we need to ensure that the persons working on the site are made aware of the situation at hand and avoid pollution that may be caused during this stage, with the help of proper training and incentive reward programs.